What's up, guys? So I'm gonna do a video that's about reptiles because I love reptiles, and yeah, here we go. So spider ball pythons are controversial because it's a spider ball python. They have a wobble and a corkscrew that they do because of it's just in their genetics. There's the argument that the first spider ball python brought here was wild, so nature made it, but nature makes mistakes, and it probably in the wild would have been, weeded out, since it wasn't like there was a million of them out there. It was an anomaly. Some wobbles are worse than others. I've heard a lot of people argue that you can breed two snakes that have hardly any wobble and breed it kind of out, or breed a spider to something else. I've seen it work, but I've also seen it not work. My opinion is I personally don't breed it. I have certain things I do breed that I'm passionate about, and I breed those snakes instead. And there are things that can be similar to spiders, like an Enchi pinstripe or something along those lines, and you can mimic the look of it without having to risk having the wobble. I don't think it is something you can guarantee that you can get out of a snake. I do think there are some people that work with it that do a better job, that definitely seem to have better luck with it, and they seem to have snakes that are a better quality. But that being said, it's still not risky, but it's still something you're not guaranteed. You're not guaranteed it's not going to have that wobble. So what I like to in turn then do is, let me turn this on. What I like to in turn do is play around with other genetics. So I have, like I said, the Enchi pinstripe, or just things along those lines that you can do, and you can create something very, very similar to it without risking it having a wobble or having a genetic issue. That said, I own 2 spiders. I did own 3, but one of them I actually just adopted out to my really close friend Elias. Sorry about the noise in the background. There's a huge fire truck. If I can show you somehow. I don't think I can. Hold on. Kinda. Shoot. No, it's not really working. I tried, I'm sorry. But yeah, there was a big ambulance and fire truck right there for a moment. But anyways, so what I tried to do is do other genetics and not breed it. But I have 2 ball pythons that are spiders. I have an Enchi yellow belly spider, and then I have a queen bee orange dream spider. With them, I don't breed them, but I use them as educational animals. And here's my other opinion on it. Because it is around, and because other people are going to breed it, and they are going to not care about the fact that it has a wobble, it's pretty, and they can make a profit on it, and they're going to keep doing it. So I personally like to keep a spider ball python or 2 in my collection, and I have the 2 females that I won't ever get rid of, and show people what it could be. Mine don't have the worst wobble in the whole world, but they're not the world's best either. And I like to educate people with it and say, look, I don't breed it, but there are people who will continue to breed it and make a profit from it and like it. Here's what you're getting into if you do, and here's what to expect, and here's how I handled it. And also, by continuing to work with them, I have been able to help advise people who purchase them. So if someone purchases one, let's say, and puts it in their collection and decides that's going to be their personal snake, a pet, or maybe a breeder for them, whatever they choose, it's their choice. But I can then give them better advice. I can say, hey, you know what, in my experience, this is what it was like, this is what happened, this is how the husbandry was, this is what made things better, less stressful, more stressful, like, now that I have hands-on experience. And like I said, in my day, like a long time ago, I had 2 ball pythons that I adopted out that were spiders way back in the day, and now I've got, like I said, I have my 2 that I keep, and I've also have fix it. I can't breed it out. It doesn't work like that. But I can give them the best life they can possibly have with how they eat, with husbandry, with what kind of hides are good for them and not dangerous, with their corkscrewing and their wobble and such. And I feel like that's really important. And with my females, they're just really important therapy animals to me. I adore them. I love them. They mean the world to me. And I will never, ever, ever get rid of them. They are part of my permanent residence, which, to be fair, I've got a lot of breeder ball pythons, but there's about 25 snakes that they will, even if I stop breeding, they would stay with me. They'd stay in rack system. I give them attention every single day. Like, they're my babies. And 2 of those are spiders. They're very sweet. They're a ball python. They deserve care. They deserve love. And I think that's where it gets tainted. There's people who just say, no, don't breed them. And I feel like it's unethical in many ways, too. But I see why people do. They're beautiful and they're sweet. And people are going to breed something they can make money off of. And it makes some really cool patterns. They're not my favorite look-wise, to be honest. I really don't like a lot of the patterns they make, but a lot of people love them, and that's their right. So as long as it is not banned, and as long as people can go and actually do this and actually sell them, and breed them, I feel like I need to have at least the experience to say, hey, this is how I'm handling it, and not just, 10 years ago I had the 2 younger ones that I adopted out. No, I want to say, here, this is the 6-foot female that I've been raising, and here's how I did it, and here's a hatchling that I have too, whatever it may be. I want to be able to show people, it's not a hatchling, it's a subadult, the other female, but show people, like, hey, here's how I'm handling them, here's what I did, and here's a friend of mine who has one, and here's how he's handling it. And I think that's just an extremely helpful scenario. So I really don't think it's fair to the snake to say ban it altogether, because you could ban breeding it or selling it in big quantities, stuff like that. I'm not against banning it, but the established snakes that are already here and born and in this world that can survive and have a relatively okay life if their husbandry is correct and if their care is correct, I think that those snakes are the ones that deserve to have a good life and love. So I think there's a huge gap that needs to be filled with them, where it's not taboo to own one. It's not taboo to just own one and have it as an educational animal and give it a life, because it's already in this world. We don't need to necessarily create 100 more of them and make 100 more problems, but there's nothing wrong with having something with spider in it and giving it a great forever home. And that's what I'm doing and what Elias is doing. And like I said, there's people who are going to dislike this and not agree, and that's okay. I'm not saying you're sick or cruel or messed up for breeding them. It's just something I ethically won't do. But I don't think the snakes are bad, and I don't think the snakes should be outright banned altogether. As far as, I think we should be able to go get the ones that are established and give them a good shot and a good home, because they don't deserve to be outlawed. They're a living creature with feelings. They can't just disappear, and we shouldn't put them down or anything like that. They deserve to live out their lives, as comfortably as possible. Of course, if they're suffering, that's different, but if they're comfortable and able to eat and get up to adulthood, then they deserve to live out the rest of their life happily. It's not their fault. So that's my opinion on them. I love my snakes. I love horses and my snakes, and all of my animals. My leopard geckos are really special to me, and I want to make some more videos about them and actually talk about it. My Savannah monitors, of course, are my number one, but them aside, there's a lot of things I really care about, and I think it's important to see how these animals can help in the mental health industry too, because without my reptiles, I would be so much to quick say to you, I would like to make a video introducing you to at least the snakes that are the ones I couldn't get rid of, the 25 that are closest to me, to the ball pythons alone. I cannot wait to show you that. And then I have about 15 colubrids too that I would like to introduce you guys to, just show you how amazing and magical they can be. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to my opinion, and I can't wait to talk to you all soon.